It is time once again for the weekly closes on our favorite Bitcoin miners. You might be able to tell that my audio sounds different today. I am traveling and I did forget my regular microphone, so it is going to sound worse. I did also already record this once and it failed. So I'm going to be going really fast here. And let's just get right into it, starting with CleanSpark. So let's bring up a volume profile. Let's take a look at CleanSpark. So CleanSpark, it does not look good. So we went beneath the 21-week moving average and we closed way away from it. We may get detached from that in the coming week. If Monday is not green, if Tuesday, that's going to be the latest I'm willing to go on this, is not green, we are going to be having a rough time. We're likely going to come down and touch the 200-week moving average, which is right in the middle of this volume profile gap here. We need to get above $12 on CleanSpark, and then of course we need to get above the 21-week moving average. Then we have room all the way back up into the 15s again, as you can see by this big mountain of volume on CleanSpark. Okay, so that is what we're looking for. Average force is not in our favor. Okay, you see it's coming down. Stochastic ribbons, also not in our favor. Everything is saying that CleanSpark is likely going to come down a little bit further before it goes anywhere up. So we really need to see Bitcoin going higher to get anything positive out of CleanSpark in the next couple of days or weeks. Okay, so we might not end the month very good for CleanSpark at all. That is very much a possibility. It is not looking good, even though they're basically doing everything the market wants from them right now, aside from doing HPC. Everything other than that, they're doing it all, and the market's just not giving them any benefit of the doubt right now. So that kind of sucks for CleanSpark right now. And of course, if we go look at the warrants, if you were waiting patiently, the warrants came down to the 618 level here on Friday. I picked up a bunch at like 66 cents, and it wicked all the way down to 59 cents. So you have that opportunity there. Of course, if CleanSpark comes down to about $9, I would not be surprised to see it come real close to this 38-cent level down here at the 786 on the fib levels for this one. And remember, with the warrants, those are going to be exaggerated moves of the underlying stock. So when CleanSpark goes up, CleanSpark warrants will take a little bit longer to start making that up move, but when they make that up move, it's going to be stronger and last a little longer than the CleanSpark move, and also to the downside. So if it comes down, it's going to take a little longer to get there, but it will eventually come down. And when it does come down, it's going to go a little deeper for a little longer than the regular share. So it is going to be a much wilder ride than CleanSpark itself. Okay. And of course, I did also do some selling of my CleanSpark shares last week to roll them over into warrants. So I'm not holding any CleanSpark shares anymore, but I am holding many warrants still. And of course, nothing I say is financial advice or a suggestion to buy, sell, or hold any asset whatsoever, just my observations of these charts. Let's take a look at Bitf. Bitf is also in a really bad way here. It's got too much volume for me to look at the volume profiles. So we're going to go ahead and close that down. We're also going to see, all right, so we were in this ascending channel right here. Right, we were in this ascending channel here. We broke out of it for like a day or two, came all the way back to the bottom, went all the way back to the top, and then we came down and broke the bottom this time. We went underneath the 21-week moving average. We came up right to my white line here with perfection, bounced right off of it. But average force isn't agreeing with us right now for an up move. Stochastic ribbon's not agreeing with us for an up move. We got pink on purple, and we got yellow about to turn to pink on the average force. So Bitf is not looking too good. Bitf, if we lose this white line here, if we lose that white line, Bitf is looking like it wants to come back down to about $2.50-ish, somewhere around 250. It wants to come back down to that area. And that is an area where it might be a buy zone, but it could also be not so great. But of course, remember that Bitf is connected with Ethereum, because they hold a whole lot of Ethereum. Ethereum's best months are January, February, March, and April. Okay, so basically those 4 months are really good for Ethereum. So that in theory should translate to being pretty good months for Bitf. So hopefully we'll see this thing turn around here pretty soon in the next couple of weeks and crawl up with Ethereum, and hopefully Ethereum does the same. Otherwise, we're going to come back down to 250, and we might do that first. Back down to 250 and then start crawling back up, and hopefully come back up and actually touch this stupid line that I drew such a long time ago up here in the $6 and $7 range. All right. Well, it's a 618 is where that line is. I'd like to see it surpass that line just ever so slightly and touch $7. That would get pretty bullish for me real fast if it were to do that. Okay. You better believe I'll be selling it if this thing hits $7 in the next 6 weeks. But right now, it looks like it likely wants to hit 250 first. So go to Bitfarms. Bitfarms is actually looking really bad. Bitfarms is looking really bad. Okay, so we came up, we hit this line. We've been following this descending trend line, right? We hit it a bunch of times to keep going lower and lower and lower. We lost the 21-day moving average. 21-week moving average. We also lost this yellow line, which we haven't lost before on this trajectory since we have not lost this yellow line since December 2022. Okay, so we have not lost this line in 2 years. We just lost it. That is bad. That is bad. So basically, right now, Bitfarms is in this area where it could fall all the way down to support over here, and the only support is this area right here. This is the support, and the support is all the way down. It starts at about 126, 130-ish, and goes all the way down to about 91 cents. So we could dip below $1 again. Now we could at 126 or 130 or something like that hit that area and turn around from there. But right now it looks more likely that we're going to hit the 130 to $1 range before we go back over $2. Okay, that's what it looks like right now. And you can see that average force agrees with me as that's accelerating to the downside, as well as this stochastic ribbons. They are also pointing towards the downside. They're also agreeing with that sentiment more so than an upward sentiment on Bitfarms. Now, if it goes up above $2.10, then I get bullish again. Okay, then I get bullish again. So basically, I'd be a buyer at like $1.30 and under, or $2.10 and over. That's what I'm looking at Bitfarms. So basically, I would not be holding Bitfarms right now. I'd be waiting to see, is it going to come all the way down to $1.30 and then I'll start buying it at $1.30 or under, or is it going to go up above $2.10, at which point I would be a buyer at $2.10 or above. That's basically it for Bitfarms. Let's take a look at Mara. Mara, I think the volume profile is more useful on Mara than it was on some of the others. Yeah, okay, so Mara, we got this big mountain of volume that goes all the way down to 1570 here, and we just are tapping the top of that now. If we can come back up above that at 2109, then we can move higher all the way up to like 26, where we'd have to eat through a bunch of chunky volume. But if we get above 26 bucks, it's kind of open air all the way up. And that's why when you see it get up to that area here, you can see like it's done before, like every time it gets over like $24, like you see this nice, this like jolt up before it starts coming back down again, back to earth again. I did say this multiple times that Mara was not done with that $19.80 level, and we came right down to it again. We came right down to it again. We're at $19.96 is where we closed last week at, and that is a level that I kept saying was a level that is going to keep coming back to, and it did it right now again. Hopefully we get a bounce off of that. That would be ideal. I would like to really like to see that, actually, because I have a lot of calls on Mara and I'd like to see those play out instead of burn me. But that's also where the 200-week moving average is. We got to hold that. We lose that, we come back down to the base. The base is at 1533. Okay, if we maintain this, we could bounce up and go all the way back up to the 30s, even maybe hit $40 here, especially with the new game that Mara is playing here with taking out convertible notes to buy more Bitcoin, taking on that micro strategy method. We also could be looking at a bit of an inverted head and shoulders here. See that shoulder started in February 2024. We came down, went back up, created a head, and now we could be making that other shoulder, that right shoulder. And if we get up and above $30, that could launch us all the way up into like the 40s, honestly, on Mara, or we could come crashing down to the 15s again. One of the two is going to happen. We'll see. Riot actually is a much stronger looking chart. Riot is a much stronger looking chart. So we were grinding up. Now we're creating a bit of a flag here. And we're on support. We're on support. We're creating a flag. Average force is not looking great, but it could easily flip back over, especially with the slow stochastic looking wide open like it is right now. So if this thing can, honestly, on the 21-day moving or 21-week moving average at 1070, I'd be a buyer of Riot. And if it gets above 1412, I'd be looking for it to, become a bit of a rocket and do like what it did back here, which we've seen before, right here, a couple of times, right? Back in December 2022, kind of came up, ground sideways throughout January and March, and then shot right back up again, and then ground sideways from April all the way till June, and then shot up again. So we're looking for it, right? It was grinding, it shot up, now it's grinding sideways, and we're looking for it to shoot right back up again sometime right on time, somewhere around like January, February is what we're looking for on Riot there. All right, let's take a look at Iren. Iren's actually worrying me right now. Okay, so Iren, this is either going to be a big old cup and handle, or it's going to be a big old disappointment. Okay, so let's take a look. Right here, we got my drawings. Let me get these in here. So this is kind of screwing up my little doodle here, and I'm getting a little upset about that, but let's go ahead and I'll show you. Like the cup and handle would look something like this, right? And then come about exactly where it is. It can't go any lower. It goes any lower, this it nullifies it, and then up. And that would take us up to that $18, $19 range that we're looking at right now. Let me just bring out my ruler here so you can see what I'm talking about. So that's the bottom of the cup. This is the top of the cup right here. And right where we came right up to the midpoint. Any lower than our lowest low from last week, and that cup and handle is basically nullified. And then it becomes a double top type of scenario, especially if we lose the 21-week moving average. If we lose the 21-week moving average, which is currently at $10.46, I'm going to cut all my Iren. I'm going to cut it all. I'm going to let it come down to the bottom, which is probably going to be the bottom of the cup here, which is about 638, and then I'll start buying it again. looking for that move back up to like $17, $18. I really like to see that, because if it goes any lower than that, then this becomes a double top. The top is right here and right here. Okay, we'd be looking at a double top, and that double top, its neckline, it's all the way down at $6. So it's probably going to come down, and maybe it'll stop at 850 before turning around, but it is going to come down there again if we do not start reversing very, very, very soon on Iren, and it's going to come down all the way further than you think, to the bottom of the support. It may even dip lower than that, because it has done that type of move in the past, and we could find it trading all the way down around $5. And you better believe at $5 I'll be a buyer of Iren all the way back up to 20. But for right now, it doesn't look good. It needs to turn around where it is. Okay, it's trying to. Average force agrees with us. Average force is still going up. You can see that the slow stochastic is still wide open, and the fast stochastic, while it is pink, this is a bit indicative of something you'd see for a bull flag, much like what we saw back here, right? Where in June, where it turned pink over the green slow and then turned yellow again. If this fast one turns yellow again, we're going back up. If this green one continues to pinch closed, and this the pink one continues to angle down and come all the way to the bottom, well, then we're going to see a move more like this, versus shooting up a little higher than we were before. And if we shoot up a little higher than we were before, guess what? We're going to hit that 17, maybe even $18 range, and that's where I'm going to be taking some profit. Let's take a look at Corz. Corz actually did bad here. So Corz broke this ascending channel here, broke this ascending channel. Now, if we lose the 21-week moving average on here, which is at 1335, then we come all the way down to about 1073. Between 1073 and 925 is support for Corz. And if we lose that blue line, that is where we're going. If we bounce off of that blue line, well, then we're going to be trying to test $18 again. So watch that for Corz. You lose that blue line, and this up move is over for at least until it comes back to support. And support, again, is all the way down at that 1075 range. We might actually see Corz come back to support for the first time since it's been trading anew again in January. So that could very well happen there. Let's take a look at Wulf. Wulf actually looks a bit stronger. No, Wulf doesn't look good either. Wulf doesn't look good either. So we've got a double top coming in. And I'll show you that right here. So we got a top and a top right there. And the neckline, we're actually below the neckline. The neckline was the 200-day or 200-week moving average at 699, and we went beneath it. So that is not good. And you can see that the second top here, which came in on the week of December 2nd, went a little lower than the previous top here from November 11th area, and that is not good. And since we're below the neckline, we're going to have a date with the 21-week moving average, which is at 593. If we lose that, then we come back to support. Support is all the way down at 450 somewhere, like 460 to 450, and that is where we might start accumulating. We might even come as low as 330 before accumulating again, but if we lose that blue line, we're coming back to support. Support is going to be all the way down around 460 to whatever, 330, somewhere in there. And you can see the average force and the stochastics do agree with us on that. Let's take a look at HUT. HUT is the one that looks stronger. Okay, HUT looks stronger. Okay, why? So we had a bit of a top in November 11th, right? But then we drove higher than it, and we went higher than it, which means this doesn't really look like a double top. It's kind of just curling over. I bet you it'd look like a double top on a daily chart, but on a weekly chart, not so much. But the fact that we closed beneath here, which is the wicks on the previous 2 weeks candles, and we went beneath the 5-week moving average at 25.44. So we could come down to the 21, and the 21 might meet us somewhere. The 21-week might meet us somewhere like 21.27, and then we bounce off of it. And if we bounce off of that, that's going to be great, especially since we've got the 200 and the 21 beneath us right now. Those are two pretty strong levels of support for a stock. So if we come down to those, we have room down to those, and they are going to act as fairly strong support. Unlike with many of the other ones we looked at today, where we are below the 200, we are below the 21, and that is weakness. That is bad. All right. So HUT actually could have less of a shallower dip ahead of it before trying to go for a new high once more. Cifr looks just like Wulf. Just like Wulf, but it's a little more matured in terms of its downside move already. See, we had this top on November 11th and then December 2nd, and we drove lower, went beneath the neckline, and then this week we went all the way, almost touching that 21 weekend. We did a little bit of a bounce, and that's good. That is good. One thing that isn't good, though, is the slow stochastic looks like it's ready to pinch and turn purple. If that is to turn purple, then we will likely break the 21-week moving average and come back to support, and support on this thing is all the way down at 423. So watch that close. If we continue to bounce off the 21-week, that's actually really good news, and we'll continue to climb higher off of it. If it breaks that, then we're going to come down to support, and support's real low on this one. We're going to skip HIVE. We're not looking at Soluna this week. All right, Can-An. This is actually looking really bad. Okay, so Can-An's looking bad right now. So this three candle pattern right here, goes up and then comes down, and then the second one went all the way down and closed more than halfway below the top candle. I think it's called, is that an evening star? Is that what it is, or is it something else? Can't remember, but it's bad. It's bearish. If next week drives any lower, we're going to the 21-week moving average, which will probably catch us somewhere around 170 to 150, where it is right now, 170 to 164, somewhere between there is going to catch us, if that's the case. And that could end up being a bull flag that drives us higher. So don't get too scared. As long as it bounces off the 21-week moving average, we're actually not too concerned about it. If it doesn't, though, if it goes through it, well, then we'll go to support. Support's where? Support's all the way down here like a buck. So we had this big drive up. And now it's, this candle pattern is looking bad. And I think Bitf was looking strong. Yep, Bitf is looking strong. So look at how Bitf, look at what it did. This is what you wanted to see up here, right? This is more of a flag pattern than anything, right? Okay, so we came up, we did a doji, we did another doji, we keep bouncing. We bounced off the top ATR band. Now we bounced off the 5-week moving average there. As long as we stay above the 5-week moving average at 1796, Bitf is going to hold strong, and it will try to drive higher from there. And that's all I've got for the miners this week. Let's take a look at Bitcoin itself. Bitcoin itself is not doing super duper hot right now. It's below $100,000. The 21-week moving average, which is the next level really of support here, is all the way down at $79,000. Okay, so you also can see that the stochastic, the slow, is pinching right now and is about to turn purple. That thing turns purple, we're looking at having a very bad time. The last time we had a little pinch on that was back here in June, July, and we went from 68,000 all the way down to 49,000. All right, so we had a $20,000 dip. If we were to do that right now, we would come down to $75,000. Tip the just tap the top of the previous all-time high ever so gently, and then likely carry our way on up. And also, that would be about a 3-week period of time, right? Because we're going to have the inauguration pretty soon. At the inauguration, if Trump says anything positive about Bitcoin, you better believe that $75,000 is going to be the bottom before it just drives right higher. And especially if he goes back in with an executive order declaring Bitcoin a reserve asset, you better believe that $75,000 is going to be the lowest low you're going to see for quite some time if that is to happen. And I do think that it could happen. And I think it could happen because that would scare retail quite badly. That would shake us out of our positions just in time for a big news catalyst to send it flying way up to like $130,000 in a couple of days, which is something that it does do and has done in the past. So we could see some extreme volatility for the next couple of weeks. We could even hit that $75,000 mark, but I don't think we'd stay there very long if we were to. So things don't look great for Bitcoin right now. Even if it just came back down to the 21, we're looking at $80,000 from here. That's another $15,000 down from where we currently are, and I do think that that is possible. Unfortunately, where we are, we're just not sitting in a good spot with strength on the chart. It's just not there. So Bitcoin could be coming down here, or we could just see some volatility where it like whips around and it doesn't stay high or low for very long, and it's just going to extreme highs and extreme lows at the same time, creating that megaphone pattern that we've seen in the past. And then hopefully at some point we get some clarity on some regulation, we get some big positive news coming out of the White House, and then we see Bitcoin just do Bitcoin things and take us to all-time highs once more, even higher than we thought that they could after coming to lows that scared us half to death. So anyways, that's all I've got for you today. Please like, comment, subscribe, share this video. Check out the Trade Cave store, link in the description, as well as the channel bio. Don't sleep on the sticker shop. That link is also in the description and channel bio, and have a profitable day.